privilege we have now to mark a major milestone for one of the biggest names in broadcasting.
Veteran anchor, special correspondent, and dear friend Tom Brokaw has reached his 50th anniversary here at NBC. On Sunday, NBC News will air a 2-hour special featuring Tom's conversations with prominent Americans on the stories and issues he's covered for half a century. Tom, good morning.
Matt, good morning. It's very kind of nostalgic for me to be at this chair because that was part of my career as well. I have been very fortunate to have covered so many of the events that have shaped our world, and I wanted to have candid discussions about those stories and the impact that they're having on the time we're going through right now. Try to understand the impact that they'll have on our nation and especially where we go from here.
In 50 years as an NBC News correspondent, I've reported on some of the most momentous events of our time.
Live from the Berlin Wall.
That's a television microphone.
You know how important symbols are in politics, Mr. General Secretary. Tom Brokaw, NBC News at the Great Wall.
I first went to Beijing in 1975 with President Ford. By 1989, China was changing, and Chinese students demanded more freedom.
Today we've received our first complete videotapes of the carnage.
China's leaders unleashed the army on Tiananmen Square.
Cameraman Tony Wasserman rigged a hidden camera on the back of his bike, and together we rode with the people of Beijing into the heart of the capital.
One Chinese understood what we were doing, rode up and tickled the lens on the camera, and we got the first footage out of there at that time.
Wow.
But I could have been shot, frankly.
Yeah.
So, Mr. President, my question is this. Aren't your statements to that matter?
Politics and political reporting have been my professional lifeblood.
When you look at the map now, John, and you see that blue west coast of America and that blue east coast of America,
right,
and then everything else in between is red. I mean, that's tribal warfare.
But of all the stories I've covered over the last 50 years, one continues to divide America. America's crisis in black and white.
What troubles me most of all is race division. This has been a big, big part of my career.
Do you think that's the single biggest issue we have yet to resolve?
Well, it's certainly in the top tier. I really do. You know, when President Obama was elected, I was with you the night after that. You were giddy. We thought this is a passage that's going to change race relations. In too many ways, race relations are worse now. It's not his fault. It's what's happened from the ground up.
As I look back on my career, I know I had a lot of lucky breaks. But I always ask, if I were black, if my skin were one shade darker, would I have gotten all those chances?
Well, it's the biggest issue of my life, frankly. It really is. You know, I get emotional. I think mostly because of all the good things that have happened to me. And when I do say that if I'd been one shade darker, I wouldn't have gotten any of those jobs at that time. One shade darker, they would say, oh, I don't think we can do this.
We are a much different world now, thank goodness, and I think there are a lot of opportunities that are out there, but at the same time, we still far too much see the world through pigmentation. Somebody sees a white person if they're black and they come to conclusions that are not always appropriate. On the other side, white people look at black people and they unload on them a lot of the cliches of our time. We need to find a way that we can converse with each other and try to understand each other. We come from many times different cultures, but we're common Americans and we have to find a way to the future.
You look forward with hope?
I do, in part because it's more incremental than I would like, but there are a lot of gains that are going on. If you look just at our business, we just had a great African-American correspondent on here. We didn't have those. Al Roker is an American icon at this point. When I was doing the Today Show, it was all white bread. That has changed a lot in corporate America, in political America, and cultural America. But we need to find a way to talk to each other and do it candidly.
If I could be personal for a second, not only have I admired your reporting and have I learned from it, you're one of the people around here who is a great friend and mentor to all of us, and you take the time and you talk to us and you pull us through and you try to hold us to standards, and that's been greatly appreciated here.
Well, thank you, Matt. I was here during difficult times, so when you all arrived and the ship was not going to sink, I was going to do everything that I could to make sure you stayed on board.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that,
The
Tom.
real reasons. Thanks, Tom.
And congratulations.
Okay.
And by the way, you can catch that special Tom Brokaw at NBC News, The First 50 Years. That's Sunday night, 9/8 Central Time, of course, here on NBC.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.